Hello everybody, welcome back to Phantom Forces CTE. I want to do a revisiting of the Colt LMG because I felt like I don't know, it's, they want to make that the default weapon for the support class. So I think this game, or this gun, should always have the light of day. And also for my secondary, I'm going to be using the Obreys because I honestly have no idea. It's a lot of fun to use. The Obreys is just a lot of, what the heck? 10-round holding Raven? Oh, wait, what? It gives it like a magazine. Oh, that's weird. Well, I want to see how this reloads. Let's see this. Hold on. I literally just hopped on. I was like, let's use the good old Colt LMG because it's been here for a while. I don't know how high I need to aim up for this guy. Whatever. I'm gonna waste all my ammo on him or just waste on the wall. It doesn't matter. Either way, I want to see this. Okay. Now, is it gonna reload two? Is it only gonna reload one? Nah, it reloaded one. that 5-bullet line reloaded an entire 10-round magazine. Sure, but yeah, okay. So this video is gonna focus on the Colt LMG because obviously the people that are doing the CTE now. Because I've noticed something. What I find weird is the fact that so many things are in CTE. Like, just for the game in general, like, like new guns and testing and new maps and stuff like this. But, like, what does it really matter? Because of the fact that it doesn't really seem like they're using CTE. He's not dead. Oh my god, come on. There we go. Because it doesn't really seem like the devs are using CTE. I think, if I'm not mistaken, a different dev team is working on the CTE that was approved by the developers. If I don't correct me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, that's what I remember hearing. Please just die. Thank you. Yeah, there's like a different dev team working on this, and they're just kind of testing out stuff. Morely just, like, it was originally just for gun balancing, and then they started to add in maps and stuff, and what's got me thinking is the fact that ever since the Chris Vector has come out for both the full game and CTE, they came out at the same time, and it's a very kind of like, oh, this weapon's overpowered, but in some ways it's not, but in a lot of ways it is. It's like, okay, but it's like, why? Why did it not go through the CTE process? They immediately were just like, screw it. Let's put it in the full game, which is what confuses me the most out of everything, because it's just like, why are they really using CTE? Is my question now. Obviously, they've said things about CTE, but are they really using it? Because of the fact of them just skipping the CTE process with the Chris Vector is what's really got me thinking about that. Are the devs using CTE? Or is it just kind of a fun place to experiment with new stuff and not put in the full game? Because, for instance, I thought the AK-15 would be in the game soon, but it's not. Like, the AK-15's been in CTE for a little while now. I think they've tweaked it a little bit. I think they're still working on the final model because it looks a little too much like the AK-12, but they get the Chris Vector done so quickly, but don't have balancing down packed, and they put it in the real game. That's what I'm trying to ask here. Like, what is the point of CTE? Obviously, new weapons and gun balancing stuff, as they've said, but what's the real point if they're not using it for that purpose? These both are missing. Okay, there we go. If somebody has an explanation for that, I mean, I'm all ears. I know probably as much as the next guy does, but I mean, if somebody's got a better explanation or for why they're just doing that, just let me know. I mean, I'm not blaming the developers for putting a cool gun into the game. I'm just literally asking here, like, why did they do it? I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying, like, why? Because I know that's why Battlefield 4 CTE was made, was for balancing, for balance reasons, of course. Which the CTE in Battlefield 4 was amazing back when DLC was still coming out. Oh, hey G3, come on. like I said, just a question that's on my mind that they've never really answered, and I'm still curious about, so. If you have an answer, let me know. As I unload and he turns around and kills me. Okay. Sure. I'm all for that. But yeah, we're just... Okay, so... after all that nonsense, back to the Colt LMG. Now, obviously, this gun is supposed to be replacing the M60, which I think is a pretty welcome change, to be honest, because a level 0 guest running around with an M60 was ever so slightly annoying. It was ever so slightly annoying to see a guest that's level 0 running around with an M60, a weapon that has very high suppression. It's somewhat low recoil with the right attachments, and then high damage, with a good fire rate, and of course a huge magazine. You know, I get why they made it I don't really get why they made it the first weapon. They could have made anything the first weapon, but I wasn't playing this game back when it originally first came out. Not in the full release, obviously. I was here for the full release, but I'm talking about like beta release so that everyone can play it. So I have no idea what the reasoning was behind it, but I think the Colt LMG is a nice replacement. I mean, it's got good damage, it's got decent range. Its recoil without attachments is pretty high, which I mean obviously can be fixed with attachments on it. Like I have an angle grip, green laser, compensator, and then PKA, which makes the recoil very minimal and very manageable. And this weapon's got decent suppression. I don't think it's got like amazing, but I mean, ooh, did see them in there. But it's got good suppression for a starting weapon, I guess you could say. So all in all, I think this is a pretty good replacement for the Colt LMG, or for the Colt LMG. Colt LMG's on the mind for the M60, just because of the fact that it's much less powerful and it's a better starting weapon than a weapon that has a high suppression, high damage, and can kill pretty dang fast and can sometimes barely be beaten. God, people with your grenades. Decent replacement. What do you guys think about the Colt LMG? Like, for one, do you think it'll ever come out? Obviously, they have a model for it. It's just the M16 with like a different kind of like front barrel and then a bigger magazine. But do you think they'll like? Do you think they'll ever like come out with a final model, or actually? Oh, we just threw a grenade at the wall. Or actually come out into the game? Like, that's the giant question that I raised now. Okay, he just one-shotted me. But that's like the giant question that I raised now. Like that's what's been spinning in my mind ever since the Chris Vector came out. Oh, whoa, I was way in there. There's my dead body. How did he shoot me? But like, is anything in the CTE really gonna come out now? That's just a huge question. Does any of it matter? I know, because the Chris Vector, they're balancing literally by the day. I've seen the damage for that weapon go up and down. That weapon's not set in stone, obviously. It's the weapon's damage. If any of you have been paying attention to the weapon, the minimum damage has been going up slightly, and the maximum damage has been lowering. Originally, the maximum damage was like 38, then they lowered it to like 35, I think. Which I mean, not really much of a like lessening it, but I mean, like, it has some significant, like, they are changing it in game. Why aren't they changing it changing it like that in CTE? Well, I mean, they might be changing it. I have not really paid attention to it because now it's blocked again with the one shot. But I mean, there was a little help there. But they locked. Okay, so another rant I'm about to pull out, right? Why in CTE? Ooh, this says 50 is a maximum. I didn't even know that. Why in CTE is our weapons locked behind a level wall? Now, obviously, I can still use the Chris Vector. Okay, see, maximum damage is 35. But I can still use the Chris Vector because I've never unselected it. But they locked it behind a level 100. Why are they locked? They should not. Okay, 900? Are you what? Moses locked behind a 900 rank? What? No one's even legitimately gotten to 900 in the normal game. What? Now, okay, see, in a CTE, they should have just everything unlocked immediately. There should be, we shouldn't have to unlock attachments, we shouldn't have to unlock weapons, we shouldn't have to do any of that. This is for weapon balancing purposes, and if we're supposed to balance weapons, everything should be immediately unlocked, and so that we can test it see if there's any overpowered setups that need to be nerfed. Like, for instance, the canted VCOG. Like, they can't. If any of you know what I'm talking about, the canted iron and then the VCOG. Like, if you were to put those two attachments on certain weapons, your recoil would be none. And some weapons were so powerful like that, and like to a stupid amount that they're. And it's still like that in a normal game, if I'm not mistaken, for any weapon that's like that. Like, the weapons have no recoil, and it's just slightly annoying. And I mean, it's not obviously good for some weapons, but I mean, other than that, it's like, why though? Why are you doing this? It's I don't understand. I have no clue. The CTE process is like beyond me right now, because it seems like they aren't using it to what they should be. Like having the Chris Vector first in CTE for people to test, for people to make sure that it's not stupidly overpowered, and then putting it in the full game so that, you know, people can enjoy it and not have to be screaming their head off because the Vector's murdering them every 2 seconds from across the map. I mean, not across the map, but you know what I mean. It just doesn't make sense to me. They really should take the CTE process more into consideration with balancing and just stuff like that. Like, they need to make sure no weapons are locked behind a level wall. Now, obviously, that will mean overpowered weapons will come out, but that's when nerfing comes into hand, which they will nerf those overpowered weapons so they'll be more in line with everything else. And then on top of that, what they should do is have every attachment unlocked for every weapon immediately, because then you wouldn't have to go through the burden of getting so many kills with that weapon. Instead, you could be testing attachment loadouts, like putting all like certain attachments on the weapon to see what's overpowered and what's maybe not overpowered, maybe what they can buff, maybe what they can nerf. It's this whole huge. They could gain so much from CTE, but I think it's a really missed opportunity right now. What are your guys' thoughts on CTE? Leave a comment down below about it. Leave a like in the video if you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So, bye-bye.